We start tonight with major developments in the case of a missing Clackamas County woman. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Adams. That woman's husband is now charged with murder a week after his wife disappeared. Catherine Cook spoke with neighbors about the case and has the story from Welch's.
Investigators say Susan Lane Fournier's body was found Friday, not far from her Brightwood home. The medical examiner ruled her death a homicide, and now her husband is charged with murder, just weeks after Susan filed for divorce.
They found a body here adjacent to our property.
Betty and John DeLong are processing heavy news from the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office. On Friday, detectives say someone found the body of their neighbor, 61-year-old Susan Lane Fournier. It happened near her Brightwood home off East Miller Road and Highway 26. Also Friday, detectives arrested Susan's husband, 71-year-old Michael Fournier, for second-degree murder.
You know, you don't like to see anything like this happen.
It was shocking to me because it was really close to us.
Susan was reported missing November 22nd when she didn't show up for work. Initial reports suggested she might have been hiking with her dogs in the Mount Hood National Forest near Welch's. That's where crews focused their days-long search for her. According to court documents, Susan had filed for divorce from her husband less than a month ago, citing irreconcilable differences. They'd been married for 12 years. The DeLongs admit they didn't know the couple well.
A lot of people live up here that just want to be by themselves.
Even so, they say lately, community members had been concerned for Susan's safety.
They were expecting it. You know, a lot of people talked about DV, domestic violence, you know, and but yeah, the other thing was everybody wants to know where the dogs are.
Susan's two Malinois mixed dogs are still missing. Fournier is lodged in the Clackamas County Jail, held without bail. If you have any information on this case, you're asked to call the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office. In Welch's, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Along the Oregon coast, one person has been arrested on murder charges after he allegedly attacked a person last weekend. Newport police said last Sunday evening they were called to a home near Northwest 15th and Grove. There they spoke with Jeffrey Sutton, who told them the suspect, Mark Rogers, attacked Sutton after telling an intoxicated Rogers to leave his home. While talking with officers, Sutton began to have a hard time breathing. Medics were called, but he was soon pronounced dead at the scene. Rogers is now lodged in the Lincoln County Jail on second-degree murder and assault charges. New tonight out of Clackamas County, one person is dead and two others are hospitalized after a two-vehicle crash on Friday morning. It happened just before 7 on Highway 213, just north of Melina near mile marker 10. Oregon State Police say 23-year-old Lindsay Moeller of Molalla lost control of her car while heading south and hit a northbound vehicle head-on. Moeller was pronounced dead at the scene. The other driver and their passenger were taken to the hospital. Their condition is unknown at this time. In Washington, an investigation is underway into a single vehicle crash where a person was found dead. The Clark Cowlitz Fire Rescue was called to milepost 12 on Louisville Highway just before 7:30 this morning. That's about 5 miles north of Battleground. There they found a car on fire and partially hanging over a steep embankment. After putting the fire out, they found the person's body. The investigation has been turned over to the Washington State Police and the Clark County Medical Examiner's Office. And back in Portland, we have an update to a deadly single vehicle crash from earlier in the month. Portland police said 42-year-old Cedric Willis of Vancouver lost control of his car along Northeast Airport Way on November the 20th. The car left the road and rolled over. PPB believes Willis was speeding. The crash is still under investigation. Around Portland, you probably noticed more police officers walking around at shopping centers and community events. Since Black Friday, PPB has been conducting holiday walking patrols. Every day from noon until 8 this holiday season, at least 2 officers will be out walking, hitting major city spots, including the zoo and shopping malls. Police Chief Bob Day said these patrols are difficult to pull off, given the Bureau's budget and staffing constraints, but they also aid in giving people positive interactions with police.
From an efficiency standpoint, you could look at this and say, hey, at a time where resources are thin, this is maybe not the best use of our time and our money. But I feel very strongly in the relationship piece.
Well, these walking patrols will continue throughout the holiday season, and they'll end at 8 p.m. on December the 31st. Well, it's going to be a very chilly start to December tomorrow morning. Not only will it be cold, but we're also going to see some areas of fog and even some freezing fog mixed in. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri is here with a first look at the forecast.
Well, John, we woke up to temperatures the coldest we've seen so far this fall, with a lot of readings in the upper 20s, low 30s. Looking into tomorrow morning for December 1st, yeah, it's going to be just as cold, if not a little bit cooler in a few locations. This is what we saw earlier today when we started off your Saturday. Hillsborough 30 degrees, McMinnville 28 degrees, Aurora you saw a temperature of 32 degrees. Now, the concern for tomorrow will be the areas of freezing fog, basically throughout the central and southern part of the Willamette Valley. Be prepared for the potential of seeing some slick roads out there. In terms of visibility right now, it's starting to kind of deteriorate a little bit, if you will. Over in Hillsborough, you're seeing visibility down to just over a mile. A little bit better in McMinnville, but as we go into the later part of tonight and into tomorrow morning, I'm expecting to see that visibility kind of decrease a little bit. We're also looking at some air quality alert throughout much of the state as well, at least throughout the west side of the state and the southeast side of the state. Again, we haven't had much movement in terms of our weather pattern over the last couple days, and that's going to continue heading into tomorrow. We need some wind to help kind of push that poor air out. That's not going to come until at least late Monday into Tuesday. Right now, we are looking at the air quality in the moderate category, but in parts of Salem and Madras and Central Oregon, it's down to the unhealthy category. I'll talk more about your detailed forecast in about 10 minutes from now.
All right, Joe, thank you. We have a health alert for you tonight. Sunfed Produce has issued a recall on all sizes of its whole fresh American cucumbers. It's because they could be contaminated with Salmonella. They were sold between October the 12th and November 26th and shipped to more than 24 states, including Washington. At least 5 people in Washington have been sickened, according to the CDC. According to a company announcement, impacted cucumbers were packaged in bulk cardboard containers labeled with the Sunfed logo, or in a generic white box or black plastic crate with a sticker that provides the grower's name. Well, we continue to follow negotiations between the Greater Albany Public Schools and the local teachers union. In an update today, we learned there is a single outstanding issue. The Greater Albany Educators Association wants the district to commit to a hard cap on class sizes for kindergarten classrooms. In a new update tonight, the union said the district leadership agreed to make changes this year, but they walked out before making promises to do the same for next year's kindergartners. Mediation will continue tomorrow morning.